Well, hello! How are you today? Welcome to my channel. My name is Jane, and hopefully you will find this video sexy. Well, maybe not so much sexy, but these markers sure are sexy. Can art supplies be sexy? I sure do think that they can. Let's check them out. The folks over at Art and Play have been very generous to send me these. We're going to actually review these, but I also want to talk to you about something. I'm going to take these off. Let's get settled here. So, recently I lost a friend, and it wasn't COVID, thankfully, but you know, the thing about it is that it was very, very sudden, and it got me thinking early this morning as I was kind of waking up and everything, how do artists deal with trauma? The loss of somebody, how do they grieve? You know, this is the closest person that I've ever had pass away. And last week was just, I didn't have any motivation to work. I was just kind of in this depressive funk, and I was crying, and then I was not, and then I'm still kind of in shock, you know? So I want you to share with me below if you've had people close to you pass away and how you dealt with it. Did you dive into creativity? Did you kind of channel the trauma of losing someone, or did you find yourself not inspired? I would really, really like to kind of discuss that in the comments below. I really want to get a little bit more personal with you guys and see how you handle things in life as an artist and how you channel your difficulties into your life and your art. You see what I'm saying? Right now, what we're going to do is take a look at some of the swatches that I have in comparison to the former set that I had. I actually did another video on some of the markers that they sent me, which I'll put a little card in the right-hand corner, and you can click on that if you choose to do so. Jack? Can you hear him? That's my cat on the other side of the wall. I live in a duplex and we co-parent this cat. Hello! So we are going to take a look at these fancy markers. This is a booster pack, so it complements the already existing markers that they have. So it's all new colors as far as I know, but we're going to dive deeper into that. You're going to see a demo, of course, and all that good stuff. So let's get started. We're going to take a look at some of these swatches, and we're going to talk a little bit about these markers, and I'm going to show you a demo, and we're going to see what comes of this. I'm actually pretty excited about this because they are very, very beautiful colors, and I want to share it with you. So let's get started. This is a booster set, and it is a dual tip, which is the brush and chisel. As you may know, they create some beautiful markers, very, very comparable to copics. I think actually I like these better. I've only been able to afford a few copics in my life, but these are such delicious colors, you guys, and I love the feel of their markers in my hand. Take a look at how pretty these are. I mean, I'm gonna probably show you a B-roll and everything, but I'm really especially in love with these pinks and reds right here, and I just think this is a great, like, comprehensive booster pack. There is a small little chart inside. I did actually swatch these, but I just don't think they look very good. And I'm really, I was bad about, like, bleeding over here. Wonderful, right? And so I did my own swatches, but it is nice and convenient to just tuck that right in there and you'll have it with you. But oh my God, are you kidding me? I actually love this color. I'm in love. Are you kidding me? It's so pretty. You got your brush tip? Yeah. And your chisel tip. And they kind of have this hexagonal shape, really, really kind of nice, and it won't roll off the table, so I really enjoy that too. But let's take a look at the chart. And also this is something that they sent me last year, which I featured in the other video, which you can click on the link in the card, but and in the description box below. There is another set of 48, which is technically the booster to this set, so don't be confused by that. This is kind of like a starter kit, and then they have one other 48 set, and then this is the booster set, so I'm excited. We have the new marker swatches. Lots of juicy, beautiful colors. I like that it's not like all over the place. It's still complementary to the original 48 set from what I know. I don't have it, like I said, but I saw the swatches online, and this is very beautiful. If you are a marker enthusiast, then I would say go right for it, because these markers are fantastic. I have used them for a few of my pieces, and we're going to use one for this particular video. So some of these are definitely close in color with the 24 set and some of these other sets that I've had, and versus this pack right here. You got to look at some of the numbers. They're a little bit different. Like, for instance, here there's 87, right? And then there's 86. They're close, but not quite. And if you're a person who likes lots of different tonal values and lots of different options and loves the rainbow itself, just like I have this problem with wanting to have everything because I love the colors. I have like rainbowitis, I think is what Jane Davenport calls it. I wouldn't doubt it. There's actually like some kind of condition that makes you fall in love with like the entire spectrum of colors available. So I gotta say, like, these are some sexy markers. Can art supplies be sexy? I don't know. Can they? Yeah, I think so. They can definitely appeal to us. I already know the quality of the markers. I've tried the markers, so I do know that we're in for a good ride there, and that you're going to get what you pay for, which is not that much compared to like what other sets are. Like Copics are insanely expensive, and I know that there are other brands on the market that are very, very good as far as quality is concerned in alternatives, but I gotta say these particular markers are very comparable to Copics, and I think if I were going to choose some, I would definitely choose this as an alternative because they are refillable and their nibs can be replaced as well. So that is a huge plus. You know what's really nice about this is I feel like this is a really well-balanced collection of colors. So if you're going to get like a well-rounded collection of their markers, I would suggest this and their skin tone set as well. And they actually have a bigger skin tone set than what they used to. So you've kind of got some amazing mixing colors in here. You've got your traditional kind of standard red. You've got this color, which is kind of, these two colors are very similar, but this one's kind of a deeper yellow, and you've got a nice kind of ultramarine blue here. It would have been nice to have kind of a cool gray, but I think there's one in the other set. So a really nice, well-rounded collection of colors, I feel like. So let's get started, and I'm going to go ahead and create something really wonderful, hopefully. Creativity allowing and all that jazz. And I'm going to take you through that. We're going to talk a little bit more about grieving and the art process, how artists deal with grieving, and you can share your stories below. So I'm going to talk about it a little bit as well, and hopefully uplift you too, so you can take something with you from this video and feel better about life. That is kind of my goal for this channel as well. One of them. Oh, well, hello and welcome to the voiceover. So I'm looking to give you an idea of my user experience with these markers first. I didn't find any cons regarding this collection other than I did have to dip into my original collection sets to complete this piece, and they were all the Art and Fly sets. So I don't really find this to be a true con, considering that this is literally a booster set, so it's a complement to the other colors, and I figured that'd probably be the case with this. But I do want to say right off the bat that it felt like I screwed up the skin tones on her face, and you can't really tell right now, but you will here in a minute. Because I thought I knew what I was doing, but then I discovered that wasn't the case. I tried some gray and green and blue undertones in the shadows, and I was really thinking at one point that I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull this off. Have you ever felt like that? Like, have you ever felt like you were kind of humbled by a medium? It's fine because it all worked out in the end, but I couldn't give up because I was determined to make it work. But you'll see towards the end when I start layering the colored pencils over the marker layers that it helped to kind of smooth out some of the contrast. But right now it looks fine, but you'll see in a minute. I mean, I kind of got quote unquote experimental, and that's kind of what got me in trouble at first. But it kind of actually inspired me to use more rainbowy colors, like for undertones. And I probably should have used some grays first and then layered over the skin tones. So one thing that I loved about these markers was the ink flow was just great. No dry markers at all whatsoever. And the vibrant colors kept their vibrancy well after drying. Only the skin tones seemed to be a little less potent after drying, but that's kind of okay because that's the look that I wanted. And this will happen, with the markers. It happens with watercolors too. So this also has something to do with the paper that I'm using, which is Strathmore Mixed Media 400 paper. And honestly, I think I'm going to switch to trying Bristol smooth paper for a mixed media project like this instead. I watched a recent video on Hello Alice's channel where she talks about how she uses the markers, and that's the paper that she's been using. So I trust her judgment since her artwork is absolutely beautiful. Also, creating some of the folds to look realistically was quite a challenge for me in her shirt. Not due to the quality of the markers, but because I'm not as experienced with markers and just need to practice more. So, about grieving and being an artist in grieving, I personally find the grieving process just such a strange one. It's like even though our hearts know it's real, the mind really has a hard time wrapping itself around the situation at hand, especially if the person has passed on very suddenly. And I feel like artists maybe have a different way of dealing with grief. I don't know. Or do we? I don't know. We have our capabilities to express ourselves through our mediums. But maybe the emotions make it just too overwhelming at first. I know that's how I felt. But it could be different for every artist. And so some of us may block our creativity because maybe those emotions are just, they're too overwhelming, or maybe some of us have to express ourselves creatively to just get it out of our system. I've been in both places before, and maybe not so much in grief, but just in life itself. And, art is definitely a form of therapy in many ways, and that's why there are so many videos and courses on art therapy out there. I found myself personally working a lot more and focusing on YouTube in order to distract myself a little bit more at this time. Maybe that's not the healthiest thing to do. I don't know, but it feels intuitively right. I feel like my friend would want me to be more creative and not sit around and be bummed out all the time and to just shut off completely. But it feels like it's helping me heal as I sit down and create videos. And creating can be a form of survivalism, but it's also a way to thrive. And I believe it's normal at first to feel too sad or too overwhelmed to create anything. That's where I was for about a week, and it felt like even trying to draw or paint would be the biggest task in the world. It felt like too much. Speaking of using art as therapy for grief, I personally don't think I'm going to be able to really get past that shock and the stage that I'm in right now until I create a portrait of my friend. And I don't know when that'll be. I don't know when I'll be ready for that, but I feel like when the time is right, I will be ready to draw or paint him. Grief is no stranger to the world of visual art, and that's for sure. I mean, it certainly has been the subject matter depicted in many historical paintings, from that time all the way up to modern day studio art. And sometimes when we're stuck trying to convey difficult feelings into our artwork, listening to music really helps. Playing music helps too, of course, and that's a whole other form of therapy channeling grief. Look at how many songs have been born from grief and dying. For example, Tears in Heaven by Eric Clapton, Wake Me Up When September Ends by Green Day, Hurt by 9 Inch Nails / Johnny Cash, and the entire 3 album by the band Phantogram is a result of musician and vocalist Sarah Bathal's sister's death. And so not all of these are sad songs either, though. It's just a way that the artist is feeling at the time. So songs and albums can be musical vehicles that transport our feelings onto paper or canvas. I feel that my friend is really at peace. I had a dream about him not long after he passed away, after I filmed this. And, the feeling was just overwhelmingly peaceful, and he was happy. And so while I know that physical death is permanent, I do believe that the soul lives on. And it's like my other friend said to me. She said, grief is for the living. And I do believe that that's true. It is our process here while we still remain here on this planet, on this earth, that these are natural things that we have to deal with. So death and grief are both a certainty, but while we're here living, we must process this. So I feel like artists can take the knowledge and the beauty that we see in the world and create a work that will be able to live on past our own expiration dates. And I feel like it's an opportunity to rise above the circumstances. And what we do with our abilities in moving through grief is up to us. And so just remember, you're not alone, and your legacy is the life that you live, and your life is a canvas. And I know that sounds corny, but it really is true. If you have any advice on grieving and how you've dealt with grief, please leave a comment in the comment section below. So I had a lot of fun working with these markers, and I used colored pencils, which are such a wonderful complement to markers when using the right paper, and I'm really actually happy with how this turned out. If you're curious, I used some Eagle and Barrel Prismacolors, a couple of Holbein color pencils, and mostly Derwent Color Soft. And if you're wondering why I didn't use the Art and Fly brand colored pencils, it's because I needed a more wax-based pencil this time around, while the Art and Fly colored pencils are oil-based. That's a wrap, everyone. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button and subscribe for more. Creating this for you has been so much fun and helped me get out of my initial grieving funk. And if you're looking to purchase these fantastic, juicy, beautiful markers, you can go to artandfly.com or amazon.com and purchase there. Can you tell I've been messing around with my new dolly I talked about in my last video? I'm having fun with it, and that's part of life, is just learning to have fun. So thank you, everyone. I'll see you next time. Stay creative.